Pretend like you're talking to me.
All right, well, we're here, Halloween 2015, and another crummy one for Georgia fans. Just an absolute ass whooping by Florida yet again. And I should probably start getting used to this, but yeah, it's tough every year.
Never a good feeling.
Yeah, it's tough every year. So we're here with not another top 10 show, Halloween edition. This is our top 10 Halloween films. I'm here with Damon Gumbert.
Howdy.
Well, I mean, there's not much to do except for just get right in it. So here's how it'll work. We'll go. I'll do 10, 9, 8. You do 10, 9, 8.
Okay.
And then we'll go 7, 6, 5, and then trade off from 5 to 1.
Okay.
If I can remember that. So, if we have one that is similar or close to each other on the list, so say I have one at 7 and you have it at 6.
Yeah.
We can kind of group it in and just talk about it together.
Understandable.
So that's how that'll work. So for my number 10 is Alvin and the Chipmunks Meet Wolfman.
Nice.
It's a great one. For me, this film has a wonderful feel of the classic Universal monsters, and its main example is the way Alvin is obsessed with the Universal monsters. And it's nice because Universal actually did this film, so they're able to use the names. But it hooks me. I can see how this film sort of has a niche audience. You either like Universal horror monsters or you like Alvin and the Chipmunks. So I don't know if you can really find an in-between. But, it's good. I watch it every year. It doesn't hold back. It's got some spooky scenes, somewhat dark at times, and the whole plot isn't the strongest, but it has what any decent film needs, and that's good characters. So, like I said, it's a must for me every Halloween. Now, I did a big rearrange because I was going through this, and I found a film that needed to be really up there. So,
Yeah.
In the number 9 slot is my number 3. So I have to jump around that, and hopefully I don't mess this up. So, for my number 9 is a newer one, and that's Trick or Treat. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie.
I haven't, only because I believe you told me when you watched it the first time how terrifying it was. And it, made me not want to watch it because I didn't want to be super scared.
And I don't know.
That was years ago, but still.
Yeah, just for everybody listening out there, I am a big chicken when it comes to horror movies. So me saying
I'm not much better.
Alvin and the Chipmunks is spooky and Trick or Treat is nerve-wracking. I mean, there were some scenes, but I've seen it so many times now where it's just more fun.
Yeah.
That cliche term for those kind of movies, fun. So, it's an anthology film with an overall connecting arc, which is pretty sweet. I love how they put it together. They're witty. I think I love the feel of the Creepshow style of feel. I don't know if you ever saw Creepshow before, but it's awesome. It's funny. They use a lot of jokes, I guess. But yeah, it pokes fun at a lot of things, and to me, this film's like a piece of candy that has numerous layers to it, kind of like a Tootsie Pop or a Wonder Ball. Seeing as it's Halloween and you get candy.
Make the candy reference.
Right. So to round out my 10 through 8, it's going to be the Blair Witch Project.
Nice.
So this film was higher, but like I said earlier, I found one that absolutely creeps me out to this day, the same as it did when I first saw it. But Blair Witch Project, and this is a must for Wisconsin Halloween time because it looks and feels like Wisconsin in the fall.
It does.
It just takes place in the woods. It's arguably the start of the found footage films. It's films that we're still getting today. One that is
arguably
even
the best one of all of them.
Right, and we're getting another found footage movie, another Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
So it's still going strong, I guess, if you want to say that. But it takes such a simple concept and turns it into one of the most talked about horror films of its time. There were some people out there who, I don't know how, but they thought it was real, like it really happened, and these.
Well, they did a great marketing plow with that. I mean, they didn't like release the fact that it was I mean, they didn't release the names of the actors until the movie actually premiered or anything, so it wasn't like you didn't know who these people. They didn't use who did they use in the second one? Like I think Josh Brolin might have been in it. I don't remember.
Maybe I don't even know if I've watched the second one.
The second one was garbage. But
Yeah, but you really don't see the monster that they're hunting. But that shot at the end with the kid standing in the corner, it still fucking creeps me out every time.
Every time.
Yeah, it still scares the hell out of me. So we'll hand it over to you.
All right. I don't really have mine in any order, so I'm gonna kind of make it up as I go.
All right.
So I'll say number 10 would be the Charlie Brown Great Pumpkin episode / movie.
Fair enough.
I just watched it, I think, for the first time in school like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's I don't know why my phone away. It's more adult than I ever thought. Like a Charlie Brown was, like something about I don't know why, but something about like small kids being like more sophisticated than me, like makes me laugh hysterically.
Yeah.
Like they were going through some like existential stuff, and it was just like I was rolling laughing at it. It was just crazy, and I mean Snoopy's always hilarious.
Now I forgot, and I don't know if you can answer this question. Is Lucy Charlie Brown's sister, or is it Linus's sister?
Which one's Lucy?
The one in the blue dress.
That is Charlie Brown's sister.
I can't believe I haven't watched that stuff.
Who's the older one?
Oh, the blonde-haired one is Linus's sister.
No, the blonde isn't that Lucy?
Lucy's the one with the black hair and the blue dress. The other one's the blonde hair.
Okay, the blonde one is Charlie Brown's sister. The dark-haired one who always pulls the ball out.
Yeah.
That is Linus's sister.
Ah, okay. I knew it was something like that.
Yeah, and Charlie Brown's sister has a crush on Linus, and nobody likes that.
Yeah.
All right, so my number 9, I'm going to go with A Nightmare Before Christmas. I've never been a huge fan of Tim Burton, or just like Tim Burton-esque kind of movies, but that is it's a classic. Nightmare Before Christmas is a classic. Great songs, super creepy, like creeped me beyond a doubt the first like 2 or 3 times I watched it. Now that I'm significantly older, it doesn't bother me as much, but especially when Boogeyman comes out, that dude.
I love his song though. He's got a great song.
Just great music in that movie altogether.
I might be in the minority, but for me, A Nightmare Before Christmas, I watch that more around Christmas time. Just for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it has a lot to do with like the capturing of Santa.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. But I see how it goes both ways. It just never has been one of those for me where I sit down and watch it. I have it right here, but I usually watch it a little bit more around Christmas time. But I think that's one that ABC Family cheats on.
Yeah, they probably show it twice a year.
Yeah.
They, I think the director just came out and said, like very recently, in like the last couple of weeks, that it is intended to be a Halloween movie, not a Christmas movie. So I included it mainly for that. I think you could watch it either time of the year,
right?
It'd be just socially acceptable.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go down to number 8, which again I'm just spitballing. We're gonna go with Zombieland.
Very good. I actually maybe had that on one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
I thought about it.
I always tend to go with zombie movies. I mean, there's so many of them now.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like
they did it. They did it. That is one of my. If I think flat out zombie movie, it's one of the first things to my mind because I absolutely love. I love it, and the biggest thing I don't know with you, but the Bill Murray scenes stick out.
Were fantastic.
Dude, they're so hilarious. And then even after, when Jesse Eisenberg's leaving, and he's on that motorcycle, this is like I'm not very good with goodbyes, so that'll do, pig. And then he falls over.
Woody Harrelson is just
oh god, he's good.
He's so fantastic in almost everything he does.
And when after he spills it about his dog or his so-called dog Buck, and then he's out and just shooting vases in that foyer with Hank Williams Sr. playing. I love that song, and I love that scene.
It's
It's
great
so
stuff.
great.
Yeah, everything about that movie. I mean, even I think it's not like a scary movie. So I mean, you until the end when they're actually like facing the horde. That's the only time you actually like
Yeah,
feel threatened in the entire movie.
and it gets a little bit of like if the first two acts of that movie weren't as strong as they are, it wouldn't that last one just would not work for me.
No.
How like they're going up and down on that ride, and
Yep.
that's a little because like why I would rather like jump into that water and try to swim away, that one where they drive the car in, instead of like going on a ride. But
Yeah.
I guess they lost a little bit of that magic towards the end. But
Yeah.
hey, for the most part, that movie is.
I mean, 2 out of 3 isn't half bad.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I'll still watch it anytime it's on.
Yeah.
Because it's a quick watch too.
It is. It's not a very long movie. It's probably like hour 45 tops.
Yeah, it's good. Is that
That
eight?
was mine,
All right,
yeah.
so now I'll do what is 7, 6, 5, and then we'll do 4.
Yeah. And then 4, 3, 2, 1 would be.
Okay. All right. So 7. Hadn't watched this one in a while, but revisited it again last night, and I love it. It was kind of teetering a little bit because I think it lost a little magic for me since I'd grown up a little bit from it. But my number 7 is the Monster Squad. And it's with the Universal horror monsters. The Monster Squad is basically the Goonies, but with Dracula, Wolfman, the Mummy in it. The main horror monsters crash this town, and it's up to this gang or this group called the Monster Squad to save the day. It's a totally 80s stereotypical film, but the creatures are done by a very familiar name. You ready for this? Stan Winston.
Ooh.
So the guy that did the Jurassic Park dinosaurs did the monsters for the Monster Squad, which it's awesome. It captures that young Halloween excitement that I had when I was younger. That nice neighborhood setting where could I think of it as Appleton, Wisconsin being overrun by, popular horror monster icons? Yeah, I could. So, yeah, I definitely watch it again. Still, it's freaking cheesy, but it's an easy watch for this time of year. So 6. I'm doing Friday the 13th, the original.
The original?
The birth of the slasher film craze. Friday the 13th is the best of the Jason films, and it doesn't even have Jason as the killer. The twist is great, and the first time I saw it, I was completely shocked. But I will say one thing. Whoever casted that lady, and I'm sorry that I'm a jerk and don't know her name, but she is freaking creepy, man. They do AMC Fear Fest, and they do like these promos for it, and it could be while it's running, or it could be before, like whatever it is. But these promos have these montages, these clips of all these different things, and it's her talking about Jason and how he died, and today is his birthday, and it's just like, I look for the remote and try to click away as fast as I can because I just want to get it off because she creeps the hell out of me. Not a franchise where you find great films, but it does hold one of the greatest horror characters of all time in Jason. So not much to speak about the other films, but Friday the 13th for me is pretty good. And we see the rise of Kevin Bacon. So he has a pretty sweet death in that too. I don't know if you saw that movie.
I haven't.
He's like, I don't want to spoil it for you,
Go
but
ahead.
they all die.
Shocker.
He's on like this cot, and I'm trying to remember right, but like you think of like this wire ass fucking cot, thin mattress,
Yeah.
and I think it's like a fire poker or something comes like through the bottom of the cot and just right through him.
Oh, wow.
It's a sweet death. It's a really sweet death. I forgot. Am I going to 5?
Yeah.
Okay, 5. George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead.
Nice.
The original, yep, black and white. It's beautifully shot in black and white. It has an African American was the main characters, and it has a shocking ending, and uses simple practical effects. Wherever Taylor is right now, he'd
He'd be
be
all
creaming
over it.
right now, just to create terror. So he's a horror legend, and for me, the cemetery scene is in the beginning always gives me chills because I've been to the UP in Michigan, and been to a cemetery out in the middle of fucking nowhere, and even in the daytime, it creeps the hell out of me because there's a road kind of bordering it, and then it's just this giant field, kind of like where they shot that opening scene. But it's just so creepy, and he doesn't do much to the actual zombies, but it's awesome. Night of the Living Dead, for me, remains just a wonderful Halloween treat.
The crop of the not horror movies, but
Yep.
zombie movies. Yeah, that'd probably be one of my honorable mentions. I haven't seen that movie in like 10 years, but it's still. I remember vividly scenes from that movie. Like, it sticks with you for.
And the funny thing is like they made such a huge deal about there being an African American being one of the lead characters in it. And the funny thing is, I think it was just Romero's buddy, and just asked him if he wanted to do it. And it's
because it's not like a movie that had like a lot of casting choices. I mean, it was a independent movie for the time,
right? And they did it so great. But it's it's one of those movies where you kind of look at people who are aspiring to make movies, and you can just you get excited about something like that because kind of like Kevin Smith's movies where done for a minimal budget and using minimal resources, and you can create something that's still being talked about in 2015. So
yep. All right, so my 7, and I cheated a little bit on my list. I added a couple TV shows.
All right,
I didn't.
That's good.
I thought about adding The Walking Dead because it's the obvious choice for a zombie TV show. I went instead with iZombie, which is relatively new. It just came out last year. Follows a character who gets turned into a zombie after going to a party on a boat. Just a weird, like an interesting take on zombies. If they eat enough brains, they can stay like human. So I mean, there's a procedural part to the show, but it's just really it's written by or created by the guy who created Veronica Mars and a couple other TV shows and movies. But it's just really, really witty, clever writing, great dialogue, awesome storyline. I mean, it's a show that I watch frequently when I'm bored, and that includes Halloween time. All right. 6, I have the movie Paranorman.
All right, yeah.
When did that come out? Like 2 or 3 years ago? Something like that.
Yeah, not too long ago.
No, it's fairly new. Never thought I would see, I mean, other than The Corpse Bride, a movie based on zombies for kids. Like, that was interesting.
Yeah.
And not like a scary movie either. I mean, there's relatively a good amount of humor, and that's kind of what I focus on a lot of the time. Because, again, I am a wuss. So I don't like, being constantly frightened when watching stuff. I like comedy. I like drama. And that had a lot of comedy. There was a lot of drama at the end, too, with, I think it was like a ghost character was like controlling everyone or controlling everything.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed the twist, and it's kind of, I don't know, I guess it's somewhat refreshing in a way where, whatever the entity isn't just flat out evil.
Yeah, it was just like a mistreated child.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that was kind of what Norman was all about. He was like a lonely child who wasn't treated well by others.
Yeah.
And then he kind of connected with the creature or ghost, whatever. Kind of put it to sleep. It was good. I liked it. A lot of funny parts, a lot of sad, dramatic parts. Kind of an overall solid movie. Now, number 5, I am going to go with the movie Alien.
All right.
Not Aliens, because that's more of a summer blockbuster type movie. Alien is like the low budget horror-esque movie that preceded. First time I watched it, I'd known about it. I mean, I didn't watch it until like 2 or 3 years ago, for the first time. So I'd known like generally what happened. I knew Ripley was going to live throughout the entire movie because I knew she was in like 4 more of them, or at least 3. And it still was just like terrifying because they did a great job with scares. The monster just came out of nowhere. The creepy part with the hatchling or whatever popping out of people's stomachs and
it's
chest and shit. Just some great early 1980s, late 70s horror, but like sci-fi horror.
Yeah.
Sci-fi horror is awesome.
I'll have to show you, kind of on a side note, allposters.com was having a sale. I don't know what it was. One night I went on there, 40% off.
Oh.
Went on there the next night, 45% off. So I was like, back-to-back nights. I got my Incredible shirt, which ended up switching my costume, but I got it anyways. So I go back on there and just look through. I mean, they have a ton of movies, and their shirts list is huge. Got some really abnormal, some really weird titles on there. And not to say Alien is a weird title, but I just happened to I'm like, I'm curious. For 45% off, I'm going to look.
Yeah.
And I went through all of the movies and clicked on Alien, one of the first ones. $10.98 was a sale price, plus the 45% off. So I got this sweet Alien shirt for like... I like Alien. I'm not a diehard fan. Like, I own it on DVD. Like, that's how far back I go to it. But, yeah, man, for like $6, dude.
That's a deal,
sweet
man.
T-shirt. It's black with the alien and just like side profile, and it's green. It's pretty. It's pretty.
sick.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. So I'm pretty stoked to wear that around. Is that your 5?
That was my 5.
All right, well, we'll go 1 each from here on out. So I cheated as well, which I normally do with my collection of movies. And I'm going to go with, my number 4 is going to be the Universal Monsters collection. Now, you can do whatever collection you want, but it has to have these, let's see, 4, 5 characters in it. Wolfman, Mummy, Dracula, Frankenstein, and The Creature from the Black Lagoon. I love all of those movies. The Mummy, I'd say, is probably my least favorite, and I love the Wolfman probably the best. I love Wolfman and Dracula. Creature from the Black Lagoon is right up there, and then Frankenstein is also great. But I had to list them all. I even love the films where they meet like Abbott and Costello, which is awesome. They have that on Netflix from time to time, and it's funny, it's old, it's classic Hollywood. They use beautiful sets, and then the classic acting from Bela Lugosi, Lon Chaney Jr., Boris Karloff. It just keeps me coming back every Halloween. It's spooky. It's not scary, but it holds these characters up pretty well, and just it doesn't drop them down like Dracula Untold or something like that.
Yeah. The Benicio del Toro Wolfman.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. But yeah, each film has a unique story, and the monsters within them are performed to perfection. So I don't know if you've ever seen any of these movies, but they're fun, and the best part is how I got into them was I just literally from watching Alvin and the Chipmunks meet the Wolfman, and I was like, dude, this guy's so obsessed with these. I gotta check these out, and like one by one, just went to the library and just started checking them out one by one, and they're fun. They're old. They're not very long, which is awesome, and they have some really cool classic filmmaking styles.
All right. So my number 4,
Yeah.
I am gonna go with 28 Days Later.
Good.
Another movie. I don't watch a lot of horror movies or horror-esque movies, so I've been trying to expand myself over the last couple of years. So I think I watched that for the first time maybe 2 years ago, 3 tops. I love Danny Boyle as a director. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Cillian Murphy?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, whatever it's pronounced. I like him as an actor. Crazy story. Definitely similar to The Walking Dead, but, like 5 or 6 years earlier,
Yeah.
where he wakes up from being in whatever, coma or something, being injured in some sort of way, and, like, the world is just, like, gone. And there's just, like, dead people walking all over the place trying to kill him. And not the slow, I don't think that's the slow walking dead people.
No,
These are
they're
the ones
fast.
that, like, run and, like, chase you and try to eat your entire face while you're still breathing kind of monsters.
Yeah, I always love sort of the adventure stories. And then when you add a serious threat like zombies,
Yeah.
just makes it that much better. Have you ever seen 28 Weeks Later?
Yeah, I think I saw that in theater with, it might have been you and Ray. I know Ray was there.
Because Ray loved the first one.
Yeah.
Ray owned, I don't know if he still does, but like,
I would
he owns a 28 Days Later t-shirt.
I think I actually have seen that shirt.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That's going back in the closet. But one thing that I take away from, and one shot that I've never gotten out of my head, and I don't know if Boyle did 28 Weeks Later.
He did not. They replaced him with someone else.
But when the main character decides, well, spoiler, sorry, when the main character, this is 28 Weeks Later, so when he decides to leave his wife and haul ass, and just that helicopter shot of him running and this freaking crowd running after him and him trying to get to this boat, like, that's terrifying. And it's like what Peter Jackson uses with orcs, but with zombies.
Yeah.
And it's a really awesome, it's a shot that's never left my mind. It's terrifying. And it's awesome that he can get that kind of reaction with being so far away from the actual character. Because you, like, if I remember correctly, and maybe I'm just making it better than it really is, but I remember it being like, this medium close-up of the guy just hauling ass through this field, and then it slowly just goes up and up and up, and then you see what he's running from, and it's like, whoa. But yeah, 28 Days Later is awesome. I haven't watched that one in a while.
It's a fantastic movie.
So 3?
Yes.
3 was tough for me. Now, this one jumped from not even on my list to when I remembered it to number 3. And should have been number 2, but I watched the next one so much that I couldn't not put it in at 2. So, number 3 for me is Pet Sematary. It's fucking scary. It's messed up. It's creepy. It's so many aspects of terror, like child death, old man death, spouse death, pet death, living dead, twisted back sister. I'm trying to, it's like spinal meningitis, something like that. Oh man, Zelda creeps the shit out of me. There's such eeriness to the whole film, and even just the fact that the name and the story revolves around this pet cemetery and it's spelled incorrect. Like, God, it's just, I don't even know if I would go to a pet cemetery if I just had a dead pet there. Like, it just scares the shit out of me. The in and out of, like, the dead biker, where he just randomly shows up and then disappears. It's just pure chills. And so much of the film revolves around the idea of death, whether it's present or not. Man, I tell you what, I can't watch this film alone in the dark. Because that sister Zelda is creepy as hell. And even when the little kid from Full House comes back from the dead, just fucking scares me, man. Like his like his little laugh, and it's like a little freaking 2 foot tall kid that just scares the shit out of me. Because if I were laying in my bed at night and I hear something like those little feet running around and that laugh, and he's got a freaking scalpel, yeah, I'm pretty scared. But yeah, that movie, it took me a while to think of one that really scares me to that, but I wanted it to be one that I watch each year too, so I keep up with it. So it can't just be like a Conjuring or The Grudge or, one of those movies that I watch every other year or every 2 years or whatever. So Pet Sematary is definitely my number 3 spot.
All right. My number 3 is another one of my cheaters. I have 2 episodes of the show Community. A relatively new... Well, no, it's not new. It's a couple years old. Finally finished. But they had 2 Halloween episodes. I don't think they did any more than that. That the first one was like a zombie... Like they were having a party at the school because the show Community all takes place at a community college. And in the second season, I'm pretty sure, this week they had a party at the school for Halloween, and like the dean of the school got some rations from like a drugstore or like a army depot that turns half the school into zombies. And just like, and this is a comedy show, and they just like turn half the school into zombies, and there's just like the entire episode is the main cast trying to get out of the school so they can all like, well, there's some people who are just trying to get out of the school to save themselves, and there's other people who are trying to get out of the school so they can help everyone. So that was kind of like a good give and take from those characters. There were some really great pop culture references. Like that show every episode is a new pop culture reference.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize until like a year or 2 later that 2 of the characters dressed up as, one was the alien from Aliens, like the mother alien, and then the other person was dressed up as Ripley and the mech suit.
Oh yeah.
So they had like a little fight scene in the middle of like this party. And it was just like I didn't realize that was what it was until a couple years later when I watched Aliens. I'm like, oh my god, I get that joke now. Well, then the next year they had all the characters tell horror stories, like kind of in the vein of like a Simpsons.
Yeah. Treehouse of Horror.
Treehouse of Horror, which again is probably going to be one of my honorable mentions that I just thought up like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, going off of a lot of those TV shows, and they do a lot of good ones. Like Roseanne does a lot of good Halloween episodes. I mean, I'm not a huge TV guy, but the Nickelodeon ones, man, I have pretty much any Nickelodeon Halloween special that you can think of, I fucking own it.
Yep, I was just thinking of some Hey Arnold ones.
Yeah, Hey Arnold ones, dude, like... Yeah, even the ones that aren't even, like, generated towards Halloween are just, like, spooky ones.
Yeah.
Are just... They're great to watch. They're a lot of fun to watch. And, even watching, like, the show Real Monsters around Halloween time is good. But, yeah, SpongeBob Halloween, I own it on VHS. Rugrats Halloween, I own it on VHS, DVD, like...
Cartoon shows and Halloween are just like born together. They just need to be together.
They are so good, and they do such a good job at capturing that spirit, of Halloween. So is that good for your 3?
That was my 3.
All right, 2. 2 is actually on right now, and it's let's just start with this. What can I say? I mean, I love this film. It's Hocus Pocus.
I knew it.
Dude, it's gotta be. And it's almost minus, I mean, if number 1 was like, well, I mean, who knows? But anyways, I can quote this film from beginning to end. Seriously, you could turn it on anywhere in the movie and I'd be able to quote it. I have this weird thing with, I like falling asleep to movies.
Yeah.
and I have my specific favorite ones that I like to fall asleep to. Like, Hocus Pocus, I love falling asleep. Tom and Huck. Tom and Huck, there's a reason to fall asleep to, but yeah, just I one of my favorites of late is Ichabod, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad.
Yep.
That's a good one too. Adventures of Ichabod and Sleepy Hollow. I think that's part of the double feature, but that's a good honorable mention right there. But yeah, I've gone so far as to reenact Max's bike ride home after school on Halloween. Like, I wanted to live in that so much. It's a staple of Halloween. It's funny. It uses its sets to perfection, whether it's on location or in a Hollywood set. I think it does a good job with it. It lacks a little bit with the young characters. You kind of feel a little detached from them, and they're not the greatest actors, but man, it's so memorable still. So, I love it when film critics strike out on film. They just destroyed this film. But the thing is I can turn it on them is like, the film has all the makeups of being a piece of shit, yet is still raking in millions of dollars in the home video sales and syndication on ABC Family. ABC Family just booked it for more showings this year than it has any other. So like it's only getting better in terms of new generations experiencing this film. Like it happens, man. I mean, there's a reason why like the Goonies is a cult following.
Yep.
There's a reason why there is cult followings because the fans see something that the critics don't.
Yeah.
And
I can't even count how many people have asked me this year when I'm at work. I work at Walmart. How many people have asked me, do you have Hocus Pocus in? And of course, like, they're all coming like the day or a couple days before Halloween, so of course we don't have it.
yeah.
But like, it's multiple times in the 4-hour shifts that I'm working, 4 to 8 hour shifts. Like, there's several people that are asking, do you have Hocus Pocus? It's like, no.
Yeah.
They've been gone for weeks.
Yeah, and like I actually lost my VHS copy, and it really fucking made me mad. Like, I got really mad when I lost it. It ripped apart my room looking for it. Like, I wanted to find it so bad, and I haven't found it yet. I'm confident I will find it sometime. But yeah, I have it on VHS. I bought it on DVD, and that's all I need. And I don't need a great copy. I don't need it on Blu-ray because for me, it's almost like my Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the grain. I like the VHS, and they don't mess with anything. On the DVD copy or the VHS copy. So, yeah, Hocus Pocus, man. It's strong. It's not, to me. If I'm rating it out of 4 stars, easiest for me because I've thought about it before. But like a solid 2.5 is good for me. It's not quite to the 3 where I think it's a solid film.
Yep.
But it has things where you can go back to it and just fall in love with it again. And like I said, with a lot of these films, it captures Halloween in such a unique way that it has its own version of it. So yeah, that's my number 2.
All right. My number 2, as with most of my list, is relatively new. It is Cabin in the Woods. A lot of people classify it as a horror movie. I don't know if I'm just too old or what, but I don't think it's a horror movie. Like, I can see the horror aspects of it, but I always thought of it as more of like there's the newest genre of like horror comedy, which I think it's more comedy than it is horror, but there's definitely some horror aspects. I mean, there's some parts that really creep me out when they're in the elevator going down to the base level.
Yeah,
and they're seeing all those monsters. I definitely was freaked out more than a few times watching that. There were some definite odes to old horror movies. The main plot of the movie, I mean, not the main plot, but the above ground plot was all like Evil Dead-esque with like a mixture of like zombies in it too.
Yeah.
And they did the same thing with Evil Dead or to wake up the monsters as Evil Dead did, with reading the Latin, like, inscription on a book or something. They showed some characters that looked a lot like the characters from The Strangers.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they did. Yeah, they did a lot of.
I think they had a guy who looked kind of like Pinhead, but with like saw blades sticking out of his head.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of satire
Super
in that
creepy,
movie
but
that I
great.
think it works well.
Yeah.
I love how the jock tries to be heroic and then just ends.
Yeah. There was
abruptly.
a giant. There was a definite like a meaning to that.
Well, it's like, you know what it reminded me of in a kind of a sick and distorted way? When Buzz Lightyear tries to jump out of the window in Toy Story.
Yes.
And it's like, dude, he's going to make it. And then it's like, no. And then Randy Newman's just like, no more. He's just laying there with one arm. Except for it didn't turn out that well.
No, it didn't. It definitely turned out really badly for Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah. But
I almost thought, like, oh man, he's going to make it. It's Chris Hemsworth. And then he just hits it and tumbles down and just, like, is obviously dead. And there was, like, for the rest of the movie, I'm like, it's Chris Hemsworth. He's coming back. Like, they can't kill Thor.
Yeah. Well, they did it.
They did. They did.
I forget his name, but the dad in Step Brothers.
Yeah, Richard Jenkins.
Yeah, Richard. Yeah, he is
Richard
so
Jenkins
underrated.
and
He's hilarious.
Bradley Whitford. They teamed to. Oh my god, they were so well together.
Yeah, they're funny. Like, but it lost me in the end with Sigourney Weaver coming out and like.
They definitely just put her in. I think I even watched the commentary and like special features. They put her in. They asked her if she wanted to be in it, just because. Like, they never actually expected her to say yes.
Yeah.
And she said yes, and they were like, oh. Okay, like they just put her in it because she is,
But like
a horror.
I love that
queen,
uniqueness
sci-fi
that it
queen.
brings. And for me, if someone were to ask me, like, hey, good movie or bad movie? For me, dude, I think I watched it again once. After that, it was on Netflix, right?
I would assume so.
Okay, so maybe it was on there, wherever I watched it. But I think I watched it again. Yeah, it plays. It plays well, and with, I don't know. I guess I'll just leave it at that. It's for me, yeah. It's just, it's unique for me, and I haven't seen that really done. So I'll take it, man.
I love the writing. I love the dialogue. I mean, the directing wasn't even bad. I think it was Drew Goddard's first movie he directed, or very close to. And then him teaming up with Joss Whedon to write it was fantastic. I loved everything about that movie.
Yeah. So number one. Do you have the same one?
We have the same number one.
Of course. Dude, and if anybody ever had the different number one, I'd probably call them out. Well, I'd probably call them out just as trying to be different.
Yeah.
But obviously, we both have Halloween as our number one. But
the titular movie.
But the thing is I literally go back and I will watch, if not the first one, which is usually at least a clip of the first one.
Yep.
If not the whole first one, but one of the Halloween films every Halloween.
And there's obviously a ton to choose from.
Yeah,
but I mean, and most of them, some of them are really bad, but some of them are pretty outstanding.
It is a staple in American, Halloween and horror films in general. That is, Michael Myers is, it kind of gets played a lot, when people dive into film and diagnose film, but it's the fact that you don't see him so much that makes him very creepy.
Yes. And they kind of ruined that more through the series.
Right. Yeah.
And the first one, it was terrifying.
And what I always thought was pretty funny. Well, not funny, but is that Carpenter. John Carpenter did the score for it too, which is fucking funny if you think about it. But
he pulled double duty.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of guy. Man, I love his movies. I love a lot of his movies. But whenever I hear that song on, and if I'm fucking by myself, I'm kind of taking a couple glances around.
I'm looking behind me. I'm looking around corners.
Where's that coming from? And why is it on? So. Yeah, it's just so many scary scenes. It sends shivers down my spine when I hear the music, and it's just great and always will be, I think.
Yeah.
even at its age, if fucking douchebags don't try to remake it,
I think they're
over and
already
over,
trying to remake it.
Which
I don't think the Rob Zombie movie was a complete. The second one was atrocious. And
Yeah,
we went and saw that for my birthday.
yeah,
You
Ray
remember
had that epic on with the movie, yeah.
The first one I thought was good. I own it. I like it. It's not a. I mean, it's not like it doesn't live up to the first one, which for being made in the '70s was pretty outstanding, even revolutionary, and like could arguably be stated as like one of the best horror movies of all time.
Or even the best horror character of all time.
Almost definitely best horror. Like there's usually 3 or 4 that could.
Yeah, usually in the conversation you get Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers, possibly Chucky. I don't know.
I threw in Chucky as a joke, and people were like, "Oh, are you kidding?" And I'm like, "I'm not really kidding. Like I'm kidding."
The newer Chucky is not bad.
Chucky's hilarious and like a really creepy and like horrible way, but he's super.
Well, I don't know if you remember the first one. Kind of side note, it's on my honorable mention, so I might as well talk about it. But Child's Play,
I kind of want them to remake that series, just like make it.
Well, you got to check out the direct-to-video one because it is so much better than Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky.
Yeah, Seed of Chucky was atrocious.
Hey,
Bride of Chucky was bad, but there was some funny parts.
But he the new one they reinvent it pretty well. It takes place in
really good.
The one home, and like it had my attention. Even the after credit scene is fucking funny. It's great.
Does it use the same voice character?
Yeah, Dourif, and Dourif actually plays himself as Charles Lee Ray.
Oh, nice.
In the flashbacks, there's a connection to why he's going to this specific house as Chucky. But the original one, and I'll never forget it because it's like I don't know if it was late '70s, early '80s, but I think Chris Sarandon's in it as the cop, and the mom from Seventh Heaven's in there.
Yeah.
And it's at the end where they like kill it, and it's like Chris Sarandon's yelling at this guy with this sweet ass like '70s porn stash. Whatever you do, or he's like, the guy walks in. What the hell's going on? It's like, the kid was right. The doll's alive. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like it's like, don't touch it. Yeah. So he goes out, of course, and messes with it, and Chucky's burnt body comes and grabs him, and it's like, now do you believe me? Yeah. But who's gonna believe me? That just that scene is like, it's funny and creepy at the same time because it's true. No one's gonna believe you.
No, they're talking about a possessed doll. Mm-hmm. Like no one's gonna believe that crap.
So yeah, and even the other ones, the sequels aren't.
They're not terrible. They're up until Seed of Chucky. Seed of Chucky is again.
Well, you start to get like acquainted with, or like acclimate. You don't get as uneasy when you see Chucky anymore.
No,
it's like when he's
not as intimidating as he was in the first one.
Right. So but yeah, I mean, I definitely check out that one. But I mean, when it comes to Michael Myers, the title Halloween says it all. I went back to watch it in the theaters when they released it again, and they had this awesome documentary in front of it. And it was just an experience that I never got just watching it at my home, which is awesome in itself.
Yeah.
But going back to the theaters and watching it is just, it was a blast.
Man, I was going to do that this year, and I was trying to find people who do it with me. And of course everyone's like, oh, I've already done that. I'm like, is this like a thing? People just like every year go and see. Yeah. I thought it was like a one-off, like they were just doing it like special.
No, yeah. I remember them saying it, and I was like on the edge of like, should I, shouldn't I, shouldn't I? And Allie had never seen it, so I was like, I'm going. So we went, and it was awesome. And they had, like I said, they had this really cool documentary in it. But wow, so out of all of our lists, we only had one that was the same, yep. Which is good that it was the number one movie. Yeah. That was the same. But yeah, that was not another top 10 show, Halloween edition. So look forward to have a bunch of different people on, different criteria, different lists. So check out our other stuff on The Real Frame of Mind. Follow our Twitter at Real Frame of Mind.
Real Frame of Mind.
Like, subscribe. What's your top 10?
Take a visit to the website.
Yeah,
which is something.
We'll have a link for it, so take a peek at that
Really
and keep following us because we love you and you should love us.
So true.